Okay, so this is a response to a bachelor ciel video that is still online. I kind of found it because I went to Reddit to check out a bachelor ciel. It's like this whole a bachelor ciel page of like kind of what's the word, like hate watchers. So like kind of hate watcher Reddit about a bachelor ciel, and because I wanted to see what he's up to now, right? And this video is linked. It's an old one, but I just want to watch it and can respond. Hopefully, I've set up Mobile correctly, audio, everything.
This is not the first video I have made reflecting on my experience at Northwest Culinary Academy. There is the letterhead. In case you didn't notice, I'm wearing the uniform.
In case you didn't notice, it's all mirror imaged as well, which is kind of weird.
Both of these things indirectly prove that I was indeed a student at the institution. However, the first video we made together on my main channel was really discussing from a personal perspective why we chose to drop out of the program. In this video, I'm going to attempt to...
Like, if you're not new to the whole bachelor ciel law, back in the day, like him and his girlfriend joined a culinary school or like a college to learn how to make, basically, like they wanted to become like vegan bakers. This is what the context is here.
More of a broad-ranging review of why you should or should not enroll in Northwest Culinary Academy of Vancouver. Now, sometimes a symbol is an abstract representation of something other than itself. And sometimes a symbol in itself embodies what you're trying to convey. On the list here of what you're expected to pay to get into this institution, I think you guys can read that. If you can't, there you go. That's focused pretty well. The total...
Actually, no shit, that is focused very well.
Bill here in Canadian dollars, $12,923. And on that list is a toolkit for $925. $995, right? No, $925. We'll be using the precise prices.
So like, let's double that because him and his girlfriend went. That's like 27,000 Canadian dollars.
$925 for the toolkit, and that does not include this uniform. Did we get, how many uniforms did we get? The uniforms were an additional $448.
Yeah, so...
I know this is not the most exciting bachelor ciel video, but they're pretty much all being deleted. And the ones I've saved on my hard drive, my laptop is fucked, is dead. So I can only really respond to this video because it's one of the only ones that's still online.
One
right.
sleeve, two short sleeve,
yeah.
And then I think 2 pairs of pants and a couple aprons.
Right. So one long sleeve shirt.
Am I the only one getting Mussolini vibes? He looks fucking good in that shirt, like no homo.
You know, the upper uniform like this, and then several, right. Yeah. I think you got it bang on from memory. $448 for the uniform. But then the so-called toolkit, $925 Canadian. Now, again, this is partly just a symbol representing what's wrong with the program, but it also in itself embodies and really is what's wrong with the program. When we first got this set of...
Yeah, like pretty much a lot of like training and college things are a bit of a scam. So like my ears are open to what he's saying.
Knives and spatulas, and you get a pair of scissors. And so we could get them all right now. We could show you on camera what you get with this toolkit. We still have all the stuff. We thought there is absolutely no way this adds up to a value of $925. I do not know. I mean, I do not know if you could justify this snappy uniform costing you.
Well, like, no homo, he does look pretty good in it. I mean, just saying that.
$125.
Looks very fetching.
Standing up. Well, sitting down, it's kind of made for a fat man. No offense, but anyway, it's not really flattering to my physique. But anyway, it makes my shoulders look enormous. But my shoulders are enormous.
I don't know. I might have to fast forward. It's like a 25-minute video. Let's just go forward a little bit. Let's just go here.
30 minutes to get lunch, and we weren't supposed to take off our uniforms.
That's right.
We were just supposed to.
Yes.
Let's go back a little bit. Hang on.
Yes. Like going to the cordon bleu. We were preparing for this. We were an extremely high level of commitment to this program. So we'd spent a lot of time going to bakeries around Canada, the United States, especially Seattle and Los Angeles, leading up to this program, looking at the best of what's going on in Seattle, Los Angeles, but also Paris, France, and the Côte d'Azur in France. So we've been seeing what's going on.
Hang on, I'm getting a bit confused. He said, we had a lot of commitment to this program, and then we went to, awesome bakeries. I might have gone ahead too far. Hang on, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back right here.
Banana bread I've ever had. This isn't even the best banana bread we've had this year. How would it be possible to justify this super, super high price tag for this program? Again, given it's not qualifying you to perform surgery at a hospital, it's qualifying you for a minimum wage job and lower than minimum wage job. A lot of people are paid below minimum wage in this line of work, where most of the people in the field, and many of the people have dropped out of high school, many people have no formal education, just on the job training. And I've been on Indeed.ca, I've been on the websites that have job listings. Many of the jobs say they're willing to hire people. They're willing to hire immigrants who've dropped out of high school. They're willing to hire, they explicitly say they're willing to hire people with no prior experience, no job training. They're at the bakery or at the bread factory. They'll teach you everything you need to know over a couple of months of probation. That if you're just hardworking and physically tough, you can do this job.
Yeah, that's how a lot of jobs work. You learn on the job. I actually don't think Eisel Eisel has ever had a job.
So what would justify such an extraordinary price tag? A price tag that's extraordinary even compared to, say, cordon bleu courses and this sort of thing. And it's for quite a short period of time, too. I mean, the number of months.
15 weeks.
15-week course. $12,000 for 15 weeks of education.
Okay, that is fucking ridiculous. I agree with Eisel Mazard here, but you can say it's ridiculous now, but he paid for him and his girlfriend to do it. Did they not realize it was ridiculous before that?
Canada. And again, prices are lower in Canada than they are in the United States. But I know I've talked to some people who went to community college, cheap local community college programs in baking in the United States. There definitely are cheap options open to you if you ask in the United States. What could justify it? Well, it would start.
Actually, you can just go and work in a bakery, fucking sweep the floor or whatever, wash the dishes. You can probably learn for free. In a way.
If you weren't ripping me off over the knives I had to buy from your program, it would start if you were honest businessmen about these kinds of things. But sure, it would help if on Banana Bread Day, if you said, wow, these people really know banana bread. If you said, wow, these people really know their stuff about banana bread. But they don't. It's not impressive. It's not like going to the cordon bleu. We were preparing for this. We were extremely high level of commitment to this program. So we'd spent a lot of time going to bakeries around Canada, the United States, especially Seattle and Los Angeles.
Commitment by going to bakeries.
Looking at the best of what's going on in Seattle, Los Angeles, but also Paris, France, and the Côte d'Azur in France.
I'm not a baker. I've worked in restaurants and hotels and stuff. But say, for instance, my job, I had to do the shit work for a long time. to kind of get where I am, you know? Like, you can't learn on the job, is what I'm trying to say.
So we've been seeing what's going on in baking on the leading edge. It ain't this. It ain't what they're teaching you at Northwestern Culinary Academy in Vancouver. So
I think I'm already identifying a problem here. Is he's never had to work in any job. You always start at the fucking bottom. If you're gonna spend all, if you spend like you said, $13,000 for like a 15-week course, that's like, if I had a fucking bakery, I'd employ like a guy that's just worked in a bakery for that long, not like someone that's been to college.
no, you're not getting an elite or impressive education. For me, the ultimate question is of how the hours of the day are spent in the classroom. And again, I talked to the boss. I talked to the boss in charge of the whole school. So I know this is true of both the savory program and the baking program. It's not just the baking program. The whole school is set up this way. I talked to the head of our department, which is baking. There are only 2 departments. Their attitude is that you get bossed around and bullied and your time wasted and you wash a lot of dishes in the industry. So therefore,
I can say I've worked in restaurants and hotels and stuff like that. Yeah, it's fucking horrible. Like, I almost don't understand why anybody would want to work there. I've worked there because I had to work there. Or at least at that time it seemed in my world that was an opportunity that I had to take. I really don't understand why someone like Bas Ciel would want to go into such a harsh industry. It's fucking not fun.
it's okay for you to get bossed around and bullied and for them to waste your time in the classroom. And that's the exact opposite of the truth, right? Because you are not paying me to wash dishes. I'm paying you.
And for Pro 8+4 with
What the
MFG
fuck?
clinically proven to help get higher IQ and EQ to last until school age. Number 1 fan ako ni
I
Papa.
fucking hate
Ang problema,
YouTube ads, man.
nasusolusyonan. Pero sa gadgets, ang
Because you are not paying me to wash dishes. I'm paying you $12,923. And the amount of my time you can waste washing dishes is real finite in that.
Okay, I agree with that in a way. Like, if you're actually paying that much money to learn how to bake a fucking cake and you having to wash dishes, maybe just go and do, what's it called, like a apprenticeship. Go fucking work in a bakery for free. If you work in a bakery for free, it's going to be cheaper than this. You'll have to wash dishes, obviously.
Context. And we came home, I mean, every day we were talking about this stuff. But it's like, look, if I add up the number of minutes of instruction I'm getting, and the number of minutes of hand-on practice I'm getting, and then the amount of time I'm wasting doing dishes, and I'm sorry, the dish situation, it just could have been better organized. I mean, even if the students were going to do all...
I kind of agree with this. Like, if you're paying that much money, like $13,000 for 15 weeks, maybe you shouldn't be washing dishes. But also, if you're not, then this course is not realistic. It's like a fun evening course for like people that want to do it for fun. Like, but yeah, I think what he's kind of saying is like they're saying, well, this is going to prepare you for the real world, right? But like, you know, the real world in this industry where you've got to wash dishes and shit like that and be bullied because kitchens can be fucking harsh, man. And I think the problem is here that he should have been more clever than to fucking pay this money. for this course. The course isn't the problem, it's the fact that he had some kind of expectation about the course. Obviously, if you're going to pay like $13,000 for a 15-week course in baking, that's a lot of fucking money, man.
Dishes, it could have been set up in a much better way where this wasn't the dominant use of your time all day, every day. Yeah, jump in.
I think with tuition that costs that much, they
Right.
could hire somebody.
They could hire a dishwasher.
Just
They
do
could
dishes.
hire a team of
Just have one
dishwashers.
person doing dishes
You're correct.
even, like, in the,
You are
it
correct.
wouldn't matter if it was in the same room.
You are correct. They could have had one
Like, no homo, but like, he does look good in this fucking chef suit, man.
full-time employee do the dishes when you are paying these elite levels, right, of tuition. But that was their attitude, and I mean that the attitude of
Actually, like, the big question I have is like, how could he fucking afford it? So you're paying like 13,000, but it was him and his girlfriend, so it's like 27,000 Canadian dollars for a 15-week course, man. This guy has a lot of money, or a lot of disposable money, or access to credit, because there's no fucking way I can afford that shit.
well, in the industry you're going to be treated even worse, so therefore
And I kind of actually have a good job.
like this in school, that also extended to their attitude towards health and safety, which was shocking to me, and that was a major source of conflict and one of the reasons why I dropped out. And the head of the school said dismissively and contemptuously, he said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe how the other schools waste your time. They spend the whole first week just teaching you safety procedures and protocols." And you know, it's like, well, I've just been in the classroom with a bunch of people who have no experience and no training, carrying around huge knives and burning hot pan.
Okay, this might be a good point, but like, I've worked in kitchens and with no training, and I've been burnt and shit. That's just the fucking job, man. Like, do you really need to be taught it? You learn by burning yourself. You learn by accidents, man.
And people getting injured and in a really crowded, hectic space. I don't think the
Crowded, hectic space is pretty much every fucking kitchen I've ever been close to.
other colleges are misplaced in giving you a week of health and safety training and protocols and procedures. I don't. I'm like, it was just ridiculous to me. I said, "I'm sorry, I can't believe you're this arrogant about it. You're telling me this when I'm injured." At that moment,
I just think, honestly, like, this guy's never fucking had a job, or a job in this kind of industry, because I've had jobs in this industry, and it's like, you know what? I don't fucking want to work in a fucking kitchen. There's no way I would even spend my time learning to work in a kitchen. And I've had some great friends that are chefs and stuff, you know. It's fucking insane, the pressure that happens in kitchen. It's nuts, you know. You got to be special. You got to kind of have. You kind of got to be a little bit special to just cope with it, you know. I think it just seems like it's a fantasy film. Like, oh, like, be a baker's gonna be cool. Like, you had a little bit of a glimpse of washing dishes or something, you know. Fuck, man, or a little bit of bullying. Like, kitchens are fucking evil, man. Like, you see, like, Chef's Kitchen or whatever, fucking whatever. It's kind of like that, honestly.
I was injured and had an ice pack on, and you're telling me this doesn't matter and what a waste of time would be for you to do. For you, and again, they didn't have a first aid kit set up. They were lacking the bare minimum things that even a McDonald's would have, a McDonald's restaurant, if you're being employed at McDonald's. I think McDonald's would give you some pretty solid health and safety training also. Shout out to McDonald's corporate headquarters. I think they're pretty serious about that stuff because they know.
I gotta say, though, like, I am a bit sad that it's not on YouTube, because it's got this. Sometimes, like, videos like this are just kind of awesome to watch. It's like very engaging to watch. I'm a little bit sad that he's had his channel deleted. I think it was going too far, and it kind of needed to happen. It kind of needed to go. But like if you're watching this, if you got this far, you're definitely someone that enjoys the baby seal, right?
They're liable. These guys don't have a sense of responsibility or a sense of being liable.
Yeah. The time management
Yes.
class is something that,
Right.
You mentioned the dishes, but it may sound like complaining, but we only had 30 minutes to get lunch, and we weren't supposed to take off our uniforms.
That's right.
We were just supposed to stay in there and eat, and we weren't even allowed to use the kitchen.
Yeah, work in a real kitchen. If you get fucking like 30 minutes, you're lucky. And the whole thing you're going to do in that 30 minutes is smoke as much weed as you can so you can handle the rest of your shift.
We weren't allowed to use any burners or anything, so if we wanted to make food, we really couldn't. And,
Your days are awful, and they just bully you further by telling you that you should stay late every time, and you should be even more enthusiastic about cleaning every day, and that you're going to be graded on this. Your ability to feed yourself, your ability to sleep at night, your ability to live a life.
I agree. Like if you're paying like $13,000 for this, that's bullshit. You're a fucking idiot for paying that much money, or like 26 or 27,000 with you and your girlfriend. That's fucking insane. But actually, the actual job, that's the fucking job, man. That's why I don't fucking do that shit anymore.
During the course is really ground down. But I think the fundamental evil there is that your time isn't being spent. Your time is being wasted.
Right. I think you mentioned that, the class was from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., right?
Right.
Or 4:30 or something.
Yep.
So if during that time you were even repeating just the same thing, the same talk.
He's never had a job. That's all I can say. He's never had a job.
Getting it right.
Yes.
That would be more beneficial.
It's not about right or wrong. If it's like ethical or not. You work in a fucking kitchen, you fucking have to work.
Infinitely.
Showing us how to make one tiny tart.
Right.
And then moving on to something else.
That's right.
If we actually mastered one skill.
That's right.
Rather than trying to.
The only skill you're going to master is washing dishes in this course. That's really sad. But you're right. The setup they have is it's like a cooking TV show, which is not you get a demo, you stand around and watch the teacher do it once, and then you do it once. And again, their idea of education is to rush you and yell at you and inform you that if you were in the industry, you'd be doing it even faster. Well, this isn't the industry. You're not paying me, and this isn't an assembly line in a factory, right? Well, this is another teacher show.
Yeah.
This bridge is there's a segue here. Let me just finish with this point though.
Yeah.
If the point is for me to actually learn how to make this pie or make this banana bread, maybe I should do it once slowly and then do it 5 times or 10 times quickly. I'm not against it.
Okay, like a bassless ciel, the baby seal, he has a fucking point here. Like in my industry that I work in, I've done a little bit of training, and it's like what he's saying. Like you train someone to do it right and slow, right and slow. Get it right first, then increase the pace. So he's got a good point here. I kind of agree with that, especially if you're paying $13,000 fucking dollars. He's saying like if you're gonna bake a cake, bake it again and again and slowly until you get it right, then up the speed. I think he's actually right here. One of the few times that I agree with the seal.
But no, in this case, if you do it once really fast, having no idea what, and then spend all your time doing dishes, their organization of the space, of the procedure, and so on, it's a total disaster. But right, we have a segue here to talking about the fact that what they're teaching you is.
I don't want to say like again, like it does look fucking awesome. No homo. You might have spent $13,000 it was worth it for this fucking shirt, man.
A bourgeois housewife baking. I'd even go so far as say aristocrat housewife baking. Total disregard for the basic, questions of budget.
Okay, so like now we're going off on like one of the Eisel Mazard tangents. I'm getting lost on it.
Efficiency, profitability. There were a couple sentences because we read all the fine print before we signed up. We thought we were going to learn about the economics of running a successful bakery, and you really don't get that. On the contrary, they feel
isn't the course about fucking baking, like being a baker? It's not a fucking business course. Fuck.
Well, they're providing you with a better quality of education by giving you extravagantly.
Look, like I said before, like I've done some training, like in my field. When I have someone like this who knows too much, and with my colleagues and stuff, if they persist knowing too much, we'll just kick them out. We give them their money back, to say go somewhere else. That's just how it works in my field. I'm not a baker. I think it works the same in baking, I'm guessing. Like, if you have a student who, like, knows too much, but isn't open to learning and is just bitching all the fucking time, it's not even the case of, like, that they, like in my industry, that they'll make it harder for other people. I guess in baking school it might be, like, but what I do, it's like, no, you're just fucking wasting our time as educators. So we ain't got time for you. Fuck off. Do it very politely. It's not working out between me and you, or you and our company. Here's all the money that you paid, even though we've like wasted like fucking 2 or 3 days of them. Here's all the money. Go somewhere else. Fuck off. That's in my industry, and I'm not a baker, but I'm guessing it's the same in baking school.
Expensive and highly perishable and impracticable ingredients that nobody uses in the real. Oh, we're going to use this dried fruit. We're going to use this handmade candied ingredient or something.
You might have not been there, but on the last day when we were supposed to be trying our scones, they brought up.
But like, it does look good.
Homemade jams that they had made that were like artisanal and yeah, this is my main issue. I mean, of course, like they were using eggs and dairy.
But this even relate.
These motherfuckers were using eggs and dairy in a baking school. What? How crazy is that?
To the manual skills being used, because you're not doing anything in the most efficient way. You're not learning how the industry does it. You're not learning how to efficiently make 20 tarts. You're learning how a wealthy, bored housewife would make the tart with an unlimited budget of both time and money, while being bullied to get it done as quickly as possible. Well,
So I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, like you chose a course that cost like $13,000 for 15 weeks. If you actually really wanted to get into the industry, like the way I got into my industry, I didn't do any of this shit. I just went and fucking did the shit jobs, man. And I worked myself up, man. And he's bitching that this is like some kind of course for like housewives or something, though. Yeah, well, maybe that's you. If you got that much fucking money, 13,000 to spend on a course that isn't gonna get you any more money, maybe you are the target audience, you know?
They used all cage-free eggs. They used, like the butter from grass.
Everything's organic, dried fruit, handmade candied ingredients, and so on. The most expensive chocolate and so on, right?
More worth our time, more worth our money, but for us in particular, we were there for the vegan.
Right.
We were learning how to make vegan baked goods, which that's a whole separate thing to talk about.
Right.
You can sit here now and bitch about your fucking expensive $13,000 course with shitty baking for 15 weeks, artisan, waste of time, gotta wash some dishes. Why didn't you do the research first? If I'm gonna spend, I fucking got $13,000. I've actually never had $13,000, man, in at least the last 15 years. If you're gonna spend $13,000 for a course, wouldn't you find out the shit first?
We made a video discussing the extent to which we were in conflict with the management because they promised us that the program would work well for vegans, and long story short, it did not. They found it impossible to teach us as vegans, so that was a disappointment. They promised us in advance that what the problem was. But yeah,
I bet the problem wasn't that you guys are fucking vegans.
You know, it seems like just fundamentally in every way, too little thought went into designing this as an education. You know, what are you teaching me to do? Are you teaching me how to run a bakery, how to start my own business, how to do my thing? Are you teaching me even how to be a caterer?
Well, no, isn't the course baking? Like, you're talking about business, like running a business is totally different. You could probably run a business, not even be a baker, but you need to go to business school. Like, you went to baking school. Baking school's gonna teach you how to fucking bake a cake, isn't it?
Teach me how to do these things efficiently and effectively. There's economic efficiency.
I think the problem is like that. A bastard ciel from us has spent way too much time in education. Maybe I'm the opposite. I've spent like almost no time in education. After like 17 years old, I've kind of worked, you know. But I've had some education, but it's been like when I'm working, and then I've paid for education that's helped me in my work, like outside of work, to help me make more money. But really, you learn on the job.
In terms of the ingredients, and there's also the method and so on. And again, I wouldn't mind if you were teaching me both. Like, hey, here's a nice way to make a tart at home as a hobby, and now guess what? This is the way they do it at factories.
Like, okay, like if I'm gonna want to be a baker, say even if I've got lots of money and I'm gonna pay like $13,000 for a course, I'm gonna go and work in a bakery first and see if that's something I want to do. Like, if I want to own a bar, if I could afford it, I'm gonna go and work in a bar for a while and see if this is what I want to do. And you're gonna learn way more fucking working there than some fucking course.
This is how you do it when you're making 1,000 tarts or even 100 tarts.
But you know, you could like, if I want to be a baker, I'll go work in a bakery for a year or two. Then I might go to college. Then I might learn something about baking or business if I want to own a bakery. I'm not just going to go do a fucking course in baking and think that's going to solve all the problems. I don't know. He could have taken that fucking 12,000, 27,000 and just taken a chance on a bakery, like on an empty lot, like a pop-up business. Go on YouTube, how to bake a fucking banana bread or something. He's a fucking vegan. He knows how to do this shit. See if that's what. That would be way better money spent than this.
Because it's not the same, and we did reading before we enrolled in this course. That's one of the reasons I was really aware of this, was that I didn't go into this completely. It was only book learning. I had no hands-on training. But I was reading about this stuff, and guess what?
Oh, it's only book learning, man. Like, I can say, like, in my training, when I've trained people, you'd be surprised that people that have done a lot of book learning are the fucking worst. Like, you actually want someone with like an open mind, and the people that have done lots of book learning, they've got these ideas in their head already, and they're not open to being taught the way. Like, whatever you're gonna do, like you need to learn how to do it, how you're taught to do it. Then later, once you've learned how you've been taught to do it, then you can make changes. but you have to learn, I think, to be successful, you have to learn how you're taught. You have to be open to your teacher. Let them teach you. And later, once you've learned what they've taught you, when you've done it for a while, then you can start to make changes once you really understand. But you have to have an open mind.
1,000 loaves of bread is really much, much different from making just one loaf of bread.
Yeah, so we were there, 1 week, and in that time, I got conflicting answers and theories about how to hold a knife.
Yeah, I know.
Then that could be how they introduce it in the first week. Like, okay, this week.
Yeah.
Like, it could be that they went to like a kind of scam school and it was a bit shit. But I don't think that's the real problem here. I think like say my job, my school, whatever, I learned it in a kind of bad place, But I learned the way it was, and then later I learned that wasn't the best way, but I had to learn the way you have to learn. Like, you have to learn the way you have to learn. If that makes any sense, I don't know. Like, you got to kind of just accept this person knows more than you. They might be wrong, but they know more than you. I'm going to fucking listen to this person. And later, when I know as much as them or enough, then I can start changing shit. But you can't go into the whole thing of learning with that attitude of, I know better. You just can't. Or maybe you can, but it's not going to fucking work out, man.
People learn to chop pineapple and apple into tiny pieces and, shred carrots by hand with this, with a grater, rather than using tools that they use in the industry.
It does look good in the shirt, though, like, no homo.
No, even this example pisses me off still to this day.
Yeah, I got criticized for the real industry. Of my dicing.
That's right. That's right.
This is going into a muffin. It's not that big.
I mean, this is not
like. I think veganism, at least for me, is absolutely bullshit. I've tried it. Didn't do me well at all. But to be fair, like, this guy's like 40 something or whatever. He's kind of looking okay, like, look at his skin. He does have good skin, man. For like a 40-year-old whatever man. So maybe veganism works out for some people. Doesn't work for me.
Like a sushi chef hand slicing, salmon in front of the customer. In the real industry, if you're going to make 1,000 muffins that happen to contain, dried fruit as an ingredient or something, or in this case, they used fresh pineapple. You're not going to spend 30 minutes hand carving and dicing the pineapple and then being criticized on the size of the cubes. No, you're going to use one of many, including medieval non-electrical process. There's modern food
Well, in that case, like, you chose the wrong course. You spent $13,000 on the wrong course. If I'm going to spend I don't have that. If I had it, I'm going to fucking research the shit out of it first. So, like, I think maybe the problem at Basel Ciel is you just have too much money, man.
You've used what's called a mandolin. There are a million ways to streamline this. Are you kidding?
Too much money and too much time.
And so, yeah, the actual techniques being used were a joke. It struck me also, in many contexts, they didn't really know what they were talking about as professors. And again, if these other things weren't problems, I could forgive that. But Melissa will remember, because I've been doing a lot of reading before this came up. I had some very simple questions about flour. It's kind of essential to baking.
Yes.
And they did not know the answers to those questions about flour.
You have probably done more reading on bread by reading a book or
read a book on flour doesn't teach you fuck all about baking.
Red flag where it's like, ooh, it seems like I know more about this than you do, and I'm the one asking the question, and you're...
Yeah, like, that whole attitude, like, I've had that with some of the people I've trained in my shit. Like, it's like, no, you don't know more than I do, because I've been doing it for fucking 20 years. So just fucking listen. And I even say I even say to people I've taught shit, like, I might not be right, but just listen to me. I'll teach you the best I can for you. I'll teach you the best I can to help you in your career or whatever. Then go and get other people to teach you. I might be wrong, but just listen to me. And I even say, like, don't listen to other people. While I'm teaching you, just listen to me. Even if I'm wrong, I'm going to teach you at least what I know. And the worst students are the ones that can't have that faith, you know. And I've had, like I said, the people that taught me originally in my shit, like, they were not good. I'll be honest, they were shit, but I listened to them and I paid attention and I learned from them up until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I know enough now that you guys, or your way isn't the right way. But when you come into something with no idea, just fucking listen to whoever's teaching you, man. That's just what you have to do that.
Supposed to be the professor teaching me about different types of flour used in bread making, and the people, by the way, it wasn't out of the blue. They were prepared. That was the lesson.
And like I've said, like, me and other people in my job of just, when someone knows too much, we're just like, okay, here's your money back, fuck off. As simple as that. Here's your money back, fuck off. If you're not going to listen, fair enough. That's fine. We might be wrong. We might not be the experts. But if you're not going to listen to us, here's your money back. Even if we've done like fucking half the course, here's your money, fuck off.
They were giving that day and that hour. They'd just given the presentation on the different types of wheat.
Yes.
And they did not know their stuff.
Right.
So, look, is it possible for, a food training course or a culinary course to be worth $13,000 for only a few months?
I don't do training anymore. I've not done it for like a while. If I was back training and I had this kind of guy come, it would just be simple. Hopefully I'd clock him straight away, but maybe I'd clock him after 2 days, and it would just be like, okay, it's not working out. I think it's best that you go somewhere else. Here's your money back. Because some people, to learn, you have to be like open to learning. You know, like, the teacher needs to be good, but the student needs to be open.
I think that's actually an interesting hypothetical question. Like, if you really just look at the price tag and then think, what is this program going to have to provide in terms of a credential and an education I can use the rest of my life that justifies $13,000? Maybe you can come up with something hypothetically that's worth $13,000. When I paid,
I can think of if they
sure.
It was like you and your girlfriend. That's like $26,000 plus the time you're not working. I guess you don't work, but you're missing out if you're studying, you're not working. So that 26,000, even if it's 15 weeks, how much money are you missing out from working that you could have been working? The best thing is just to fucking start a bakery. Even if I was going to do what he's going to do, I know nothing about bakery. Fuck all, right? I'd just go and look on YouTube. If I had like $26,000 and I want to be a baker, and just open some shitty place and make cupcakes, and it would be way better, and I'd learn more than whatever the fuck he's trying to do.
A very good internship afterwards, if you have very good connections, which they did not promise, but had some kind of.
We had some question marks about that, right? What we actually say
response on which you pointed out to them, and
it does look good in that fucking top, though. No homo.
Didn't really clarify whether they would get you.
To be fair, We didn't stay in the program long enough to see how the internship system worked, but yeah, there was questions about that.
No, but they didn't.
If you start from the price tag and then imagine what would it need to be to justify the price tag, it's very similar when you look at what would a $448 uniform look like.
Fucking adverts, man. YouTube adverts are out of control, man.
Look like this ain't it. There's no hat, by the way. Doesn't come with a chef's hat.
No hat.
So, you know, what would a $925...
Okay, fair enough, right? Like, but I have to ask, where were you getting the money for this? Because if I've worked enough to save up 26,000 fucking Canadian, which is like, I don't know, like 18,000 dollars US, I'm going to be very careful where I fucking spend it. So, like, he might be right. Everything he says here about how they're being ripped off, but why did he just put the money down anyway? Like, maybe what Darian Wider back in the day was saying is right, that he's just like a fucking multi-millionaire.
Toolkit look like. This ain't it. Okay, bunch of cheap knives ordered off Amazon, $30 a piece. That it doesn't add up to $925, not remotely, right? And the education you're getting at Northwestern Culinary Academy, it does not add up. And when I discussed this with the director of the school face to face, all he did was express his scorn for what's being offered at real professional training programs. And even from within that conversation, my impression was the exact opposite. Like, wow, well, this conversation really gives me a lot more respect for what they're doing down the road at the humble, down-to-earth, not glamorous, and much cheaper community college and other, you know.
So why didn't you go there in the first place? I'm going to be very careful when I spend $13,000 or $27,000 a uni girlfriend. Why didn't you do your research first, man?
Professional training programs, which I think are repetitious. You know, I think you do sweep the floor and, you know, wash dishes a little bit. It costs a fraction of the amount. There are more hours. This is the other big complaint, is that you spend more hours in total over a year, over 2 years doing this. So
yeah, like no shit, like a 15-week course and anything I don't think is enough. Like 15 weeks is fuck all to learn anything.
It's less efficient in some sense. But I think, you know, you actually would learn how to make banana bread. And I think you'd deal with instructors who know what they're about and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I mean, you haven't... I have spent more time actually looking at the
the curriculum, the recipe book, the official
what was going to be taught if we had stayed in the program.
Right.
And very little time is spent on baking bread, which is a huge part of what we were interested in, and we didn't know that going into it.
Okay, so if you did that research, go fucking work in a bakery, sweeping floors and baking bread. If you knew this, why did you spend $13,000, man, each?
We weren't able to see the curriculum beforehand.
Right.
We were just, you know, going off of our interview, actually seeing the place.
Right. And the little...
I do just like love a Bachelor Cielo. Like, I mean, there's something kind of awesome about his videos. I'm a bit sad that he's not around anymore. He did cross the line. He went too far, but this kind of video, I like.
A little bit of information you get from the website and the pamphlets and stuff too.
Right.
That is true. I mean, that just seems to reflect the overall sense of economic unreality about the program, where it just doesn't seem to be training you for a real world career, neither in terms of management, nor economics, nor ingredients, nor just time efficiency, methods, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like, you know, a really pretentious course for housewives and hobbyists. And
It sounds like it is. So why did you sign up for it? How could you fucking afford to sign up for it?
Ludicrously inflated price. And, yeah, I mean, in the end, you know, we got our tuition 100% refunded, and we still feel ripped off. And this has destroyed more than a year.
Well, you're very lucky that you got your tuition refunded. That's fucking awesome.
For my life. And this has massively disrupted all of our career and education plans. It's impacted our lives negatively in a really real way. That's all it boils down to, guys. Thumbs down on Northwestern Culinary Academy of Vancouver. I hope whoever you are, when you found this video, I hope this helps you.
I think the biggest problem for like the Northwest Culinary Academy is that they didn't screen these guys correctly and just hope to get some money. Whereas like I spent like a few years teaching. Someone like this comes, I'm gonna pretty much clock them straight away. I hope that I'm not gonna waste my time with them. I think Northwest Culinary Academy fucked up by allowing these disruptive students to waste their time and probably waste the other guys in the class or whatever who are trying to go somewhere. You know, that's my opinion. But it's a classic Eisel Mazard video, which is still online, and I hope I've quenched your thirst for Eisel Mazard with this upload.
The right decision. A place like Nanaimo may not be that glamorous or enticing. We know about a program in Hamilton, Ontario. There are other opportunities across Canada. There are opportunities in Seattle. You can do better. Check them out.
I agree, but I'll be fair. No homo. He does look great in that jacket.